am a Program Director at the National Science Foundation and in the Engineering Directorate, and I work in the Catalysis and Biocatalysis area. Well, bioenergy is the energy that we derive from growing things, biomass as we call it. It could be trees, it could be grass, it could be corn, it could be any of those things that grow on the ground and are harvested and then converted into materials that we can use for energy. We have to look for more sources of biomass than simply corn as been used in the past. That'll have a place in the biofuel picture, and will always have a place probably in the gasoline picture. But as we need to expand the contributions of biofuels, we need to find other sources. So we're looking to grasses and we're looking to wood, and each one of those has special problems that in order to convert it to something that we can put in our cars and use as gasoline will require a lot more work. Well, switchgrass has one big advantage and probably several other smaller advantages. The big advantage is it's a crop that can be grown on marginal land. Nobody eats it, and it grows relatively easily and has cell wall material, cellulose, that's easy enough to break down and make into fuel material. But I think the key thing is if we had our farmers growing switchgrass on land that wouldn't be used to grow food, we get the best of both possible situations there. If you look at the amount of gasoline that's produced and used in the country, it is such a high volume that in order to grow enough material and convert it into gasoline would be prohibitive. There's no way we could provide the land space to do that. So a much more tractable and smaller volume target would be aviation fuel and even diesel fuel for trucks and buses and automobiles as well. That's smaller volume, and we can convert, again, the biomass type materials like switchgrass or other sources into those molecules that are in those fuel ranges. Well, this is a center that is set up to ideally look at many facets of converting these biomass materials into hydrocarbons, chemicals, anything that we currently get from petroleum right now. And so you will find various scientists looking at the conversion processes for taking parts of, say, switchgrass and then making diesel fuel out of it. There's a lot of steps that are required to achieve that require catalysis and engineering and chemistry to carry out. So EPSCoR is a big, large framework that allows us to collect critical mass, if you will, in this, share thoughts between the various members of the center, and perhaps get the most out of the investment that we're making in the R&D area. The general public, in fact, doesn't comprehend all the difficulties that are involved in taking something like switchgrass and making gasoline or diesel fuel out of it. So a lot of those details would be lost in trying to communicate those to the public. But what I think the public does need to know is the government is sponsoring work through the EPSCoR Center here, for example, and the goals of that work are to make us more energy independent or petroleum independent, and to give us some alternatively derived fuels that won't compete with the land use for food production, but will in fact work together in a reasonable fashion with that end goal in mind. And we also then need to make them aware of whatever pieces that we can of that. And for example, in grants that we give out, there is usually a part of that grant that supports communication and outreach activities to the public. And it's in our best interest, both the investigators and myself as a member of a granting agency, to put together that package so that the public can appreciate what we are doing with, after all, their taxpayer dollars.